This is the wrist swivel drill, which is supposed to help you maintain that flat left wrist through the impact zone. Again, you can't actually be thinking about keeping your wrist flat through the impact zone. It's just not something that we can consciously do. So the next best thing and the way that we actually learn the proper movement is through doing these drills. So the wrist swivel drill is a great one to do even at home, because if you've got something like this, I'm going to put my club down here, this is just a little weighted grip trainer, and you can see it's got, you know, a nice little contoured grip that you can actually train your hands with, and then it's got a weight at the end to kind of simulate a golf club. Now, I don't think it's the best, and it definitely doesn't feel exactly like a golf club when you swing it, but it is really good for practicing this wrist swivel. As you know from previous lessons, the left wrist throughout the swing should be flat at impact, but that also means that throughout the swing it should only be ulnar and radially deviating, or in other words, it just, you know, that's what we call a wrist cock. So through this drill, what we're going to be training ourselves to do is sync that movement where we're cocking and uncocking the wrist with our supination and pronation of the forearms. So it's kind of tricky because when you're in the golf swing, you not only have to worry about the wrist kind of moving back and forth, but also while you're doing that, you also have to figure out how does the forearm, you know, pronate and supinate through the impact zone. So that's kind of the goal of this particular drill. And what you'll do is you'll just sit in front of the TV, whatever you want to do, or even on the course, and just kind of practice the swivel back and forth. I know it doesn't really look like I'm doing anything, but I'm actually kind of training my wrist to go through the impact zone correctly. And you can just use the weight of the club to let it swing like a pendulum and start to feel that motion. I'll go ahead and get up a little bit closer so that you can see exactly what I'm doing here. So we've got the wrist and it's just, you know, cocking in the backswing, okay, just like that. And then as we come through, it's the forearm is supinating or opening up while this wrist is uncocking. So we have the fully cocked position right here, which is supposed to simulate the, you know, where you're at in the downswing right here before you release into impact. So you have the fully cocked wrist, and then as that wrist uncocks, we're also going to be opening up the forearm. So you see that happening where we're uncocking and opening the forearm. And this drill is awesome because it just kind of helps you understand that movement if you just kind of swing it like a pendulum and start to feel that rotation. Here's what it looks like kind of down the line. So we're at this point, and then we're going to get here. And this is actually a flat left wrist. You can't really tell, but it is a flat left wrist because we haven't done any of, you know, I guess let's go over here. We haven't done any of this with our left wrist or this. So we don't want any of that with the left wrist. And you can see that through this drill. So just practice this, you know, going through the impact zone, and it should really help you understand what impact should feel like without actually trying to, you know, think about it during the full swing.